Hi, it's Amani back with another video. We're about to jump straight into it as we always do. If you're not having a good day, it's not too late to turn your energy around. As I like to always say, today we are just going to be diving into a couple of different topics here that I have written down that I've been kind of doing my studies on, personal studies, as I would like to say, when it comes to me actually understanding the energies of this world and how it works and how we work, I'm learning as I go. We are learning as we go, right? Right. Okay, so the first one I have here is do not expect people to tell you the truth because they also lie to themselves, right? So it's like a lot of times we are leading with connections, expecting a person or expecting people to naturally bring us the truth, right? But a lot of times we can't be met with the truth because we, for one, are lying to ourselves. And so we are going to be met with the reflection of that through other people until you become the most authentic version within yourself, and then you can see the most authentic version in others as well. Because it's like when you don't trust a person, it stems from the lack of you being able to trust yourself, what you necessarily feel within. It goes back to that perceptions, perceptions and projections. Don't allow people to project their perception of the world onto you, and you vice versa. You can't make a person necessarily accept your perceptive of the world. Everything speaks and is kumbaya, and it has a kumbaya effect of the literal vibration of truth, right? So it's like if you are not aligned with the vibration of truth, you won't hear truth. You will only see it as false because something within you is false, right? Never make assumptions, right? Making assumptions causes poison to the mind, to the brain. Don't take it personally neither whenever someone makes an assumption of you, right? And don't take it personal when you make an assumption of someone else. Because again, assumption brings about like they said within the 4 agreements, big drama for nothing. Gossiping transfers poison as well, right? Gossip assumption, right? So you are going and taking your assumption and placing it on the next being or person, and then they go from that, and then there's another watered down version of that assumption as well, right? So it's like through your assumption, you created a poison within your mind, and then because you needed the clarity or truth, you then go outwardly and pour that same poison into the next person, and that person unknowingly pours it out into the next person, So it's like grabbing a hold of the fact that at times we tend to make assumptions and understand why you're making that assumption in the first place. Because you have the lack of clarity. You must ask questions in order to get the true clarity and truth, right? Assuming things and then going on about your assumption is just like it's damaging to the brain, it's damaging to our system, it's damaging to us as a spiritual person, right? I think I spoke about some of this in my last video, but it's okay. Another thing that I wanted to tap into was the divine masculine's energy, right? I had a dream the other night. My divine masculine popped within my dream ruler, right? It's like I saw him sitting at a table. He was sitting at the table alone by himself, and that he kept staring. He kept like every blue moon he would look off and see what I was doing over in my little section or whatever. But overall, he kind of minded his business for the most part, and like it was eating his food and was content and chilling, right? But he made it his business to always peek over to see, and to me, it didn't necessarily feel like he was necessarily watching me in like it didn't give off possessiveness. This song is playing, so this is symbolic as well. It's like I wish I knew. So I guess like this masculine, like he didn't know how you necessarily felt about him at first, or it's like he's slowly coming to the recognition of genuinely how you feel or how he feels about you, and it's like it's shocking him, and he's like, I wish I knew. So it's like it's something that he's done, or it's a life path that he's taken that if he knew, he wouldn't have taken this particular life path. It's like if he had more clarity instead of assuming, because that ties into that, he would have went about things differently, right? Also another thing that stuck out to me is there were people outside of like the gate, and they were like calling out to him, like they was like calling his name, and it's like he was getting annoyed because he was trying to watch me and keep an eye on me, but at the same time he knew that he had to go and be attentive to whatever was at the gate, right? But it's like the people in outside of the gate couldn't get into him, like they were like sticking their hands out, like trying to reach him, and it was like he did go and maybe like touch a few of their hands, but for the most part it's like he left these people where they were. So it's like the divine masculines at this time are rising within their power, and they're leaving a lot of people within their past, and it may hurt. They may go back to kind of like nurture some of these connections because they have to. It's like spiritual laws, like they have to make where they went wrong at, if that makes sense. This is a part of their growth. This is the part of them growing to be the best person that they can be. So it's like they're going off to right their wrongs in certain areas, and this man is returning back to you. I also remember cameras being on us. So like we were being watched. So it's like some of you guys, you and your divine masculine could be like within a public eye, or you guys will be in a public eye at some point. And also, I'm just over here trying to get my downloads together. He basically had, it was like the cameras had went on him, right? And it's like he was like having an interview. Someone was like interviewing him or asking him questions, right? And like I could tell he didn't really want to do this, or it's like he didn't really want to, but he did. So it's like the cameras were on him. So it's like something was revealed, and he had to like answer questions that he didn't actually want to answer. And this caused about frustration. And also within the mix of this, he was worried about like losing track of the feminine, because he had to go do all of these different things. And he had took his eye off of the feminine. So it's like, but little like the me within the dream state, I was watching him the entire time as well. I don't think that he realized that I was watching him. So it's like he didn't realize that I was watching him watch me, if that makes sense, right? And I was trying to figure out why was he watching me? What was his next move? I wanted to know what was his next move. What was he going to do next? But it's like within this dream, I couldn't get clarity of it, and I don't think it was meant for me to get clarity of it. He ended up turning around from the interviewer. It was like he was like looking above me, and he was like I at this point, because I was caught like okay, so eventually I started like calling out his name, right? And he couldn't hear me. He couldn't see nor hear me. And so like I kind of like get in front of him, and I'm like jumping up and down. I'm like calling his name or whatever. And it's like he's like looking above me as if he's looking for me, and it's like I'm right there in his face. You get it? So it's like that's symbolic too, I guess, within itself, because yeah. Both are craving physical touch at this time as well. Not just like from anybody. Like the masculine and the divine feminine needs the physical touch from each other. I guess I do have that down there, so I can talk about it a little bit. They want you guys to be aware of spiritual attacks at this time as well. Know when to fight and who to fight. Like know when to fight back, know when a spiritual attack has arisen, and when to defend yourself, and know when you need to defend you and another person against a spiritual attack, right? Love shifts things. So I have Chronos and Aries right here, right? So this is, I've been watching the Blood of Zeus. I've been watching the Blood of Zeus recently, but I don't necessarily want to talk about Chronos and Aries right now. I think I wrote that down because it's meant for me to like just remember. But I really want to talk about Seraphim, right? Seraphim, he is like my freaking favorite. He is literally my favorite, and I'm gonna tell you why he's my favorite. He basically don't give a shit about nothing dealing with rank and power, a god, a judge, any of that, right? He was born into darkness. He was someone who was originally always created to be and do bad and to be of destruction, right? He ended up meeting this high priestess along his journey, and she ended up getting eventually killed by a Gorgon, which is like a really, really big giant, right? So again, this is like anime, so like they're back and forth from the spirit realm and the physical realm, right? So Seraphim, when he's in the spiritual realm and he's doing all of the different things that he's doing, his only reason for him even like joining along the good forces, his only reason for even coming along the sides of the gods were to help the high priestess, because she was suffering. She was in a place where she was suffering because of how much that she loved him and the way that they left each other, right? So it's like she was stuck in a certain dimension of like a hell realm, not because she deserved to be there, but because of the love between Seraphim and her. It left her bound there, because, and it is so much deeper, so much bigger, right? So that's the only thing he gave a fuck about was the high priest. I kid y'all not. The only thing Seraphim gave a fuck about was the high priest. There's nothing else he cared about. And so it's like when it came to them trying to kind of like overpower him in certain areas or try to judge him within a certain area, like you have all of these divine godly beings sending forth judgment upon Seraphim, right? And meanwhile, he would be like, the fuck on with that shit. Like, I can judge every last one of y'all. Y'all ain't nobody to judge me, right? He was probably literally the only freaking spirit, the only archetype that had this type of archetype of genuine darkness, genuinely like power. That is true freaking power. When you can look the God within its face and tell it where it has went wrong at. Do you understand the significance of that? It's like everything is trying to judge until it's time to get judged, right? Like, and not only that, but it was in his ability to be able to sacrifice any and everything. That man, again, did not give a shit about nothing but that high priestess, meaning that he's willing to sacrifice whatever, including himself, just like his ideology and his world kind of only revolved around like, I'm gonna say it like this. When it came to him being good and just, the only reason why he ever did good, the only reason why he ever chose to do good is because of the high priestess, because of his love for the high priestess that kind of like changed his heart. Nothing else, no one else could do this. None of the gods, none of the angels, nothing can do this for him, right? But this high priestess was able to through their love. So the thing that I learned about this as well is the power of love. There is like when it comes to love, there is nothing that comes in between that. No one, nothing. It's not, I don't think it's even designed to within this realm, right? Within any realm. When it comes to universal laws, the only thing that brings us closer to each other is the energy of love. Through us loving another person, just that one particular person, just through you loving that one person, you're able to love others. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's powerful. Because if it wasn't for you initiating the love between you and that one person, you would probably, or we would probably forever be a certain type of way. And it's not until someone comes and ignite that love within us that we are able to shift and change and become love for other people as well. So yeah, I like the way that kind of twisted and turned. You feel me? I didn't know this was going, but I know where it's going.